cosmetic decisions. Why is it so important in our industry? Coming up on BTS Raw Chats.
This is BTS Raw Chats. BTS Raw Chats. Where real media creators chat after hours. We don't give away raw files. We give you the raw, behind-the-scenes chatter of the photo and video production world. The Raw Chat starts now.
Welcome to another episode of BTS Raw Chats. And today we are talking about cosmetic decisions.
Yay!
We want this show to help others out there to deal with the day-to-day things that really happen in the industry, from dealing with difficult customers or tips and tricks. And today we are talking about cosmetic decisions, and we are here with two very special guests. Sherry.
Hello.
And introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Erin Ryan. I'm the owner of Erin Ryan Beauty, a Southwest Florida makeup, lashes, and hair, pretty much freelance business. So I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
That is so awesome. So, a little bit of background of your industry. Tell us a little bit more about, what you do.
Oh my gosh, where to start? Well, I was born. No, I'm just kidding. I've been in the cosmetic industry for about 12 years now. I'm from New Jersey, born and raised. Actually, right out of high school, I moved to Florida for a short period of time, went to cosmetic school in actually Daytona, Florida. Mm-hmm. And then I instantly got a job at MAC Cosmetics. So I stayed with MAC Cosmetics for about 10 years. And I kind of climbed the chain with them. I started as like a freelance artist, moved all the way up to management, and I took over multiple stores for them over from New Jersey and from Florida.
Coming from the industry with movie background and also photography, it's totally different than just slapping on makeup and just calling it a day, right?
Listen, I wish it was that easy.
Yeah,
I feel like I could hire so many more people if that was the case. It's a lot of practice, keeping educated on your craft, learning new trends, and new techniques. It gets, I can't even tell you how many times I'm doing a hairstyle that I learned in school, and then I watch someone who just got out of school and they do that same hairstyle in 10 minutes and I'm taking 30 minutes because they have a new trick that I'm like, whoa, where did you learn that? And they're like, YouTube. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, we were talking about this. Actually, we were talking about this in one of our shows about trading secrets and when is too much information,
right.
Yeah. But you coming out of cosmetic school and taking the time and effort to do all that. Here's a quick question.
Yeah.
When is too much information for a person?
I'm going to be honest, I am really big on sharing my knowledge, and that's because I think what's meant for me is meant for me. I sell a lot of my business on, I think, my customer service, and no one's going to give that same feeling and experience that I do. But I definitely think that, of course, you want to keep things that are a little special to your business, but I'm really big about training people, and if I see potential in you, I want you to work for me. So I'm going to share you something, but I want you to grow on that, and then we trade. I learned some things from you too. So
Sherry, tell me a little bit about how you two discovered each other.
Well, I found Ryan on Instagram because because I was opening my studio and I needed a professional artist to do hair and makeup for my photo shoots, and I reached out to her because she had beautiful work. I mean, she's like top notch. I love that you work for MAC.
Thank
MAC
you.
is like my favorite. And we just connected from there. And she's done makeup for my shoots before. She does beautiful work. Look forward to using her, on future shoots. She's awesome. She's the best of the best.
I appreciate it.
So coming in the background of photography and videography, it's totally different than just putting on makeup for, say, a wedding or say a quinceañera or say anything like that. It's how the light hits your face, specific, shadows and all this stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Tell us a little bit about what would be the difference between putting on makeup just to go out, on the night of the town and putting on makeup for a photo shoot.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of it's going to be level of coverage, right? What you might want for coverage for photography or videography is going to feel heavy in an everyday life. But realistically, a lot of it comes down to the actual products you're using and the knowledge that you have behind them. Because if something has, for example, a lot of talc, you're going to get flashback in a high flash photography, whether it's weddings or if it's behind the scene shots or just headshots. Videography, depending on the lighting they're using, if it has too much talc, they're going to have a big white spot behind their eye. Their neck's not going to match. I mean, there's a bunch of things that can go wrong that way. And then it's educating the people who, come in with their own products. Like, no, but I love this. And I'm like, I'm sure you do, but I'm telling you, if we use this, it's going to look very different when it transfers into photography.
And that's why it's so important to have somebody that knows what they're doing. And that hey, Captain Obvious. Well, because in the past, like early on, I would let people do their own makeup, and I learned quickly that's definitely not an option.
What a sad story that is.
Yes.
No, what's hard with that is it looks beautiful. They can come in and actually be very talented at doing their own makeup. But it makes so much more work for the photographer in the back end when they're going to have to edit half of those pictures. And it turns into such bigger of a process than it needs to be.
Right. Like I had somebody that did like super heavy contouring. And when I was trying to edit, it was a nightmare because the skin didn't match. And it was different shades and the contouring and like the face was chiseled. And after that, I was like, no more.
Well, that's where kind of the YouTube and the Instagram world where it can be so beneficial to somebody who's trying to learn and get all these things. That's really not the ideal makeup when you're doing photography and video. That high, heavy contour, high highlight, that's going to transfer as like sweaty in camera or really, I like to call it like a glazed donut look. Where it's got like a line across the cheekbone.
I even had somebody have like these horrible lashes, and they were like literally like hanging. They
Flying
were like casting a shade over their eyes.
I'm an eyelash girl myself, but sometimes it's a little too much. So I think it's it's so funny. So I think that's a huge thing, and you have to stay educated on the trend. And of course, if like somebody is getting maybe a picture for their 16th birthday, and that's the look they like, of course I'm going to give that to them, but I'm going to educate them that that's probably not the best idea.
Right.
And also, it's the lighting conditions, because most of these makeup tutorials, they literally use probably 80% of them a ring light, you know, and like that light is illuminating their face in a soft, matter. That will affect a different look, say, more dramatic lighting or even going out in the town, it's totally different because the lighting conditions are totally different.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, another thing too is, YouTube and Instagram can be super beneficial. It makes people feel sometimes that they need those exact products, and those exact products don't work for everybody. So you might get all the tools and think that you're set up for success, but really you should have somebody who sits you down and gets you the right products for you. I find that happens a lot with different skin complexions. So you might follow someone who is darker or lighter than you. You get a product and it doesn't transfer the same way, especially in camera. If someone's deeper complexion and they get a concealer that's way too light, you're going to have a lot of flashback. And no matter what you do, even if there's no talc, it's going to have a white under the eye. So
right, or the face doesn't match the rest of the body.
100%, yeah. That's a big thing too. When someone's really red, they might have they're probably a yellow undertone, but have maybe rosacea or something like that. Their chest is going to be super red. So if you take it off their face, you need to maybe use a red blush to counteract that.
Now, here's another thing is that it's super important to hire the right makeup artist, because some of these products could affect the skin. I've seen situations where that actor has a particular pouch for that person. There's a particular pouch for that person because you don't want to mix those chemicals. And that's why it's super important to hire somebody that has that experience, because who knows, maybe they break out, you know what I'm saying, with those particular products. you don't know. You know what I'm saying?
You need to ask those questions. It goes back to knowledge, and really, I mean, that's where Mac gave me a lot of knowledge, though, because I learned so much sanitation from being in the retail side of things and working with so many people. Making sure that you have the right product for each person and asking the right questions to get there is super important. And having a huge kit that has a product for everybody. You can't go in with the same products and expect the same result for every person.
Right. The importance of having a professional do is, remember I was telling you this story about, because for a while I was doing the makeup myself. I did an okay job, but I suck at lashes. So I was putting lashes on this girl, and I literally glued her eyeshadow.
I mean,
she was a good sport. We were laughing so hard.
Yeah, you're like, let's just make a winking photo shoot. You'll just have one eye closed the whole time.
I can't open my eye. So, you have to have somebody that knows what they're doing. And now she's on the cover
of Molly Ray Cyrus.
Yeah.
What are 3 common questions that you usually ask a customer before you step in?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess one of the main ones is going to say, do you have any allergies to any products? Because especially latex with lash glue, I do have a latex-free glue, but I don't feel like it holds the same way. So I like to use the latex if possible. The next is going to say, how do you wear your makeup normally? Because yes, I need to make it more for camera. However, I don't want to take them so far out of their comfort zone that they don't want to feel crazy or not like themselves. Those are the main ones. And then oily or dry skin. And then I'm adding one more, sorry, a fourth. But throughout the day, do you get shiny? Because sometimes they don't know if they're oily or dry. They're just I don't know what my skin is. But if they get shiny throughout the day, that gives me a good indication that I need some kind of oil control. But they could be over dehydrated, so I also need to use a moisturizer.
Now, here's a question. What if they don't know? What if you're dealing with, the alpha male?
Yeah, and I work...
I don't need makeup.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I also work with men, a lot of, we're headshots or even for, when I do a YouTube series, things like that. So they really don't know. A lot, you can tell by touch of the skin. So I obviously ask permission to touch the skin before I do. And then you can feel if it's dry. You can see sometimes if there's patches, things like that. But doing male makeup versus women makeup's a little bit different too. I actually don't really use a lot of brushes on men. Fingers are great tools too. Fingers actually make the skin look more skin-like, so it doesn't look as layered. Because we want it to look like they're not wearing makeup.
Right.
First, with women, we sometimes want to see the makeup. So it just depends.
Well, doing YouTube series always falls into the film industry. So it's almost similar in that realm. Is there, would you say, falling into the 4K, videos of the world and the 8K videos of the world, does that make a huge difference? Because in my industry, people have gotten scared about the higher resolutions
of having makeup on.
Of having makeup on.
No, I think it actually is going to benefit you because you're going to see things that you maybe wouldn't see without a camera, right? So let's say you take a picture of me or a video of me bare skinned. I feel like I see my under eye circles more than I ever saw if I'm just looking at myself in the mirror. So a little bit of makeup, as long as it's done the correct way, is going to actually benefit you, whether it's photography or videography.
All right, we're going to elaborate that a little bit more after the break.
Sherry Elisa Photography specializes in beautifully styled modern portrait photography, offering professional in-studio photography services to all of Southwest Florida. Push creativity to the next level. Create custom themes that will complement every personality and style. On-site professional hair and makeup is also available. Our studio is conveniently located off US 41 and Boy Scout Drive, next door to the Sam's Club Plaza. Book your spot now with SherryElisaPhotography.com.
And we are back. And we're talking about cosmetic decisions. And so, Aaron, you were elaborating on our last discussion on males, you know, working with the alpha males and the importance of having makeup for photos or videos.
Yeah.
Why is that so important when you have, and how do you deal with somebody like that doesn't, feel comfortable?
Right.
With,
they might say, I don't want, no, you're not putting makeup on me.
Yeah. Honestly, that happens probably 90% of the time, and they always wind up getting it. So I'm like, we can sit here and fight, sir, but you're going to sit down in my chair and you're going to get this makeup.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, it's just making people feel comfortable. A lot of it's personality. I really do feel like it's how you treat people and your level of customer service / experience. You know what I mean? So I am really big on just being like, listen, I know this isn't the normal thing, but I'm telling you, if you want this to look the best that it possibly can, I'm going to put this on you, and you're not even going to realize that you have this makeup on. Half the time after they get it done, they're like, wait, oh, that's it? And I'm like, yeah, that's it. It just basically takes away the redness, the shine, maybe any shadowing under the eye. We all are tired, and honestly, I think it's fair or unfair that men can't wear makeup.
We're men in tights.
There is one specific MAC
powder.
Powder that a lot of the industry uses, especially in film and also photography, just on the as a baseline, just to soften up
That's what I use.
Skin
it's
a little
like
bit.
the powder foundation one.
Studio
Fix.
Studio Fix. You have to be careful with Studio Fix and how much you put on, because that actually does have some talc in it. So just, again, it's the level. Like if you're layering that onto the skin, absolutely, you're going to get some kind of flashback because it's super full coverage. But I do use that to mattify the skin a lot, because it just gives a nice sheer lip, like light layer if you use it with a brush versus like packing it on with a sponge.
Okay, here's an ultimate question here. Since we're BTS Raw Chats and behind the scenes Raw Chats, was there one particular job that you were on that was like on fire, nightmare? And how did you overcome that?
Oh man, nightmares. I got to think about some. I would probably say that
working with Sherry.
Actually, the first time I worked with Sherry. No, I'm just kidding. And that was my last time.
That's what I was going to say. That was the last time, actually.
No, honestly, I really don't feel like I have a lot of situations that put me under pressure just because I've been doing this for so long. However, if I was going to say something, it's most definitely going to be like the wedding industry. Because listen, sometimes it has nothing to do with the makeup, but like what's happening around you. I mean, one time I had a bride, and I honestly feel so bad for her. She was full blown having like a panic attack, and she like came in and she was missing, I think, her shoes or something. And I'm just sitting there watching. Not one of her bridesmaids console her. They're just like, she's crazy. And I'm like, it's her wedding day. Can somebody go help her? So we were running like an hour behind because of this, like, she was missing things and the person was like, backed up. And I'm also there being a therapist for her because none of her bridesmaids were doing that. And I'm like, ma'am, you need to rethink your friend group. Like, this is so crazy. And then like the mom came in, and I remember she's like, oh yeah, your shoes are here. And she's like, Mom, I asked you 3 times. She's like, I forgot. You know what I mean? And I'm like, so I really would say it's like little things like that can make it frustrating or a little bit crazy. But normally in the photo shoot industry, I don't really have that experience. But again, I'm like, it's been a long time. Like if I really thought about it, I'm sure I could think of something, especially when I was younger, when I was a little less educated.
Seasons have passed with Halloween.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people think that, putting Halloween makeup is totally safe and all that stuff and whatnot. Is there a tip from this past year's Halloween that you could pass on to next year's Halloween?
I mean, Halloween makeup is definitely a skill. I am continuously educating myself every single year and getting the best products to do that. The best tip I could give you is don't skimp on the products. If you get a cheap latex, it's going to probably leave a little bit of a rash because you're sticking glue onto your skin. I mean, the end of the day, then you're peeling it off and, all those things. But if you're expecting a high quality result, you need a high quality product. And
super important about pricing in town. Like some people are like, why is there so much money or whatever for makeup? You know what I'm saying? And it's because you have to buy high quality products, for those events. Have you ever had a back and forth with pricing? And how do you deal with that?
That's actually a really good question. And I sometimes go back and forth with myself about it too, because I struggle between charging more and then being realistic at the same time, right? Because I know the quality of service that I give, and I also know my speed. I'm pretty quick, which is something that I can say a lot of makeup artists are very talented, but their speed takes it takes them an hour and a half. It takes me basically a half hour to 45 minutes. So I had a hard time, like, in my own head, charging so much for such a short period of time. But then I started researching the area and what people are charging. And listen, everybody's talented in their own way, but I think toot your own horn sometimes. I know that I'm better than some artists, and they're charging double than what I charge. Do I think it's fair to charge that much? No. So I have to kind of like go back and forth and be like, this is what I feel comfortable charging a bride, that I also am not going to go lower on because I know my worth. So I think it's like coming up with your own prices that makes the most sense to you, and that's also competitive. I have gone back and forth with brides, and when not in a negative way, but like where someone's asked you, do you have any discount packages or a budget? And honestly, when I was newer artist, I would do that. Now I just offer payment plans. I'm not going to discount what my price is, because I, again, know my worth, and I know it's honestly my time. Like, I don't think people realize, like, yes, it's all the product, the services, but the time I put into making your day perfect and the education to make sure that I'm the best for the job. So, no, I won't skimp on, like, I will not lower my prices anymore. And I found that as I got busier, I didn't stop taking clients, or I stopped turning people away. I just raised my prices a little bit, because now I know they're going to pay it if they really want me, but I'm also not making it so aggressive that it's unaffordable.
Somebody starting out,
Yeah.
what would be like one or two tips somebody starting out in your industry?
Don't be known as the $50 artist, right? So, and we've all been there, right? So I'm thinking, I'm new, so I can only charge $50. Well, two things are going to happen, right? So you're either going to start raising your prices, and you're going to lose all those clientele to another $50 artist because they're not willing to pay that, or they're going to pay more to somebody else because they're like, well, you used to charge me this, but now you're raising your prices, whatever, I'm going to go somewhere else. Yep. And they're paying double anyway. Yeah. And then what goes hand in hand with that is don't start doing makeup until you're ready, right? So don't offer a service a paid for service until you feel like you can deliver that service for the price that you're asking for.
And one of the tips that I would say is be an apprentice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shadow a person that has the skill levels to, to do that particular job.
You have to. Because, you can't, like, before I found you, I'm not going to bring somebody on to do makeup and practice doing makeup on my clients. Right. I need somebody that can come in, do the job well, because they know what they're doing, get in and get out. Yeah. And like the great thing about her is that she also does hair too. So it was like 45 minutes. Beautiful hairstyle, makeup was done, super professional. Yeah. The girl looked, amazing. Photos came out beautiful, and everybody's happy.
What would be a second tip for somebody starting out?
Honestly, education. Consistently take speaking on like giving advice, like you need to listen to any advice and not think that you're the best, right? Because sometimes, listen, I think that I'm really good at what I do, but I know there's someone better than me out there. There's always going to be someone better than me. And if there's not, and if I'm not striving to be as good as them, I'm never going to keep growing. So I think just taking every chance to learn, education, take classes, an apprenticeship, like you were saying. Honestly, even working in a retail cosmetic industry is a great start. Typically, you don't need much experience unless it's something like a MAC Cosmetics, or like I would even say Sephora. Like they don't really go in there with a full education. You learn a little bit as you go. But I mean, I learned so much from just working with people and a customer service job, right? So whether it's in makeup or not, honestly, I learned so much from just working in a restaurant and how to, hold my composure, work in stressful situations, work with different types of people. But any kind of customer service is always good too.
Is there a threat in your industry, giving that there's so many tutorials out there on how to do your own makeup and how did you do this effect and how you do that effect, has that affected your business or has that helped your business?
I mean, it's so hard to say, right? I think that it depends on what part of the business you're looking at, right? So if you are selling a product, YouTube can kind of hurt you because basically they're telling you what products to buy and they can buy online versus buying it in a store or, you know, something like that. But as far as like people being knowledgeable, they can learn all they want online, but it doesn't mean they're going to be able to do it on themselves. They're going to probably need some guidance, even if it's just a one-on-one class. Or I can't tell you how many times when I did work at MAC Cosmetics, they'd be like, yeah, I watched this YouTube tutorial, but I just like, it never works on myself because they're not understanding that, like, yeah, they're seeing them go side to side with the brush, but there's actually a technique to it. So they need somebody who's going to walk them through that. And I mean, people do learn things off YouTube, but again, it goes back to practice. They're not just watching a video and getting it the first try.
And same with photo and video.
Exactly. Yeah. And it goes back to the artistry on how to apply that makeup and the techniques. Everybody has thousands of ways to do one particular thing, but it all falls down to feel and like, you know, how to apply that particular thing because it's like, you know, painting your house, you know what I'm saying? Like there's different brushes for corners and all that other stuff. It's not just slapping a roller and you're good to go, you know?
Yeah. And if I can give one last tip, I know we said 2, but there's 3. And this one I cannot stress enough. Clean your brushes.
Oh. Yes.
It is. I can't tell you. Actually, I guess. Well, this is kind of a funny story, but I was hired for a wedding. A good friend of mine. The bridal party was too big. They were like, "Listen, can you just come do our makeup?" And then they added a few more people on. The artist who was working with me, beautiful makeup. She did a terrific job. She did not clean her brush once, not one of them. She did 6 people, not only that, we're in a global pandemic, ma'am. So it's just, the bacteria, educate yourself on sanitation. That's something they're not going to teach you on YouTube. So
tell me 2 scary things as to why is it so important to clean your brush.
Any dyes, pink eye, things like that. Any kind of eye bacteria. Not only that, open wounds, right? Like what if someone you're brushing over something as a light scab?
Don't forget the big H.
Yes. There's lots of things that can get transferred, you know. But yeah, sanitation, gosh, I can't stress it enough. Just educate yourself. Don't be that artist, and you're going to get a reputation that way. You know, you'll get bad reviews. You'll get, it can just be really bad for you. So definitely sanitation.
Yes, that's practice.
And with that, we are going to go to our 3 recommendations. The first recommendation is go to
AaronRyanBeauty.com.
AaronRyanBeauty.com. And also the second tip is that we have you follow a certain artist, you know, on YouTube. Who is that one person?
His name's Vanngo. So I'm a huge fan of him. He does a lot of celebrity makeup artists. If you go to his Instagram page, he's got a link to his YouTube. He does a lot of tutorials, and I love him because most celebrity makeup artists give that like Kim Kardashian, which he does that, but he also offers the runway model look, no makeup look, which I think is super important to have in your back pocket.
That's what I like.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the final tip is the MAC website, right?
MAC Cosmetics, man, that's where I started. That's where, you know, it's my ride or die, if you will. Like I follow so many of their senior artists to this day, and my old MAC trainers. They constantly have videos, tutorials. You can, even if you're looking for products, like it's a virtual try-on you can do. They're a great quality line, and they're fairly affordable, especially for somebody starting up or just looking to get some new makeup.
So what is the point of the show?
I don't know, Dave. What is the point?
Hire a cosmetic person.
a licensed professional. I say licensed because not everybody is licensed, and you should, when you're looking for an artist or somebody for any special event or anything, make sure they're licensed. The education point behind that, and then also just they need to be licensed to be working on your face.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Not YouTube certified. You can get that as a bonus cert, but not as your only license.
And with that, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And where could they catch you out?
Well, honestly, I am all over Southwest Florida, so you can really. I work out of a salon in Bonita Springs. Actually, it's called Bonita Profiles. I have a little salon suite in there, but I do a lot of freelance work. So the best place to catch me actually is going to be through Instagram. Just message me in my DMs, and I can meet you wherever we need to, or
And all that information is on our show notes. Thank you so much, and that was an episode of BTS Raw Chats. We'll check you out next time.
Cool.